Given the way those first couple of years have gone on the WNBA, Caitlin may be glad to be playing a non-contact sport here.
If anyone still needs evidence that the WNBA has mishandled Caitlin Clark from day one, the LPGA just dropped a perfect example for the world to see. When Caitlin stepped onto the course at the Annika Pro-Am, she didn't just receive applause. She walked straight into an atmosphere that felt healthy, supportive, and genuinely uplifting. From the fans lining the fairways, to the players, commentators, and event organizers, the energy around her was nothing but pure positivity. No tension, no side-eye, no unnecessary controversy. Just excitement, respect, and admiration for a once-in-a-generation athlete. And here's what makes it even crazier. This shouldn't be considered rare or remarkable. This is the exact type of treatment a superstar who single-handedly drives historic viewership growth and revenue increases should be getting from her own league. But don't just take my word for it. Let's watch the footage yourself. The difference in how she's received is painfully obvious. And honestly, it reflects poorly on the WNBA. And stick around, because later in this video, I've got some new updates Caitlin Clark fans are definitely going to want to hear. But first, let's rewind. Caitlin returned to the Annika Pro-Am for the second year in a row, and golf icon Annika Sorenstam was more than thrilled to welcome her back.
Caitlin Clark playing in your Pro-Am for the second year in a row. What is the value of her presence in your tournament?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Yes, Damon, you're right. I mean, she had so much to the tournament. I really didn't know what to expect last year. I mean, obviously, she's talk of the town and you know, such a superstar in a lot of ways. And, you know, she added just, you know, so much, you know, excitement to the tournament. We had a lot of people come out. They were standing on the first tee at 7 a.m. waiting for her to see that, you know, the first shot. But just her engagement with the fan and just, you know, being so relatable. And I don't know, she loves the game of golf, and so glad that she wanted to come back because, you know, it brings more people to the game, brings more people to the tournament, and that's really what we're looking for.
Annika Sorenstam wasn't exaggerating when she said Caitlin brings crowds with her. If anything, she was underselling it. When Caitlin showed up last year, ticket sales didn't simply rise. They went off the charts, increasing 13-fold. That's not a boost, that's a full-blown seismic shift, and the numbers kept piling up. There were 395 TV mentions linking Caitlin Clark to the Annika event, now something unheard of for an LPGA Pro-Am. Meanwhile, social media turned into a live firestorm. On Pro-Am Day alone, X, formerly Twitter, exploded with close to 2,700 posts specifically about Caitlin's appearance, pulling in over 18 million impressions in just 24 hours. Then came the digital ripple effect. The tournament's Instagram view count soared by 591%, and the website traffic jumped another 121%. From tickets to screens to social buzz, every measurable stat blasted into another universe the moment Caitlin Clark stepped on that course. And the best part? Anyone with a functioning brain can see this is incredible for golf. Annika knows it, welcomes it, and fully understands the power of having a transcendent superstar attached to her sport.
We just didn't really know what to expect last year, and I think the response was very positive. So now we're trying to make sure that everybody gets a piece of it, but also that she can enjoy it and feel like she's having a good time. But it's just opening up to more people to see her and get a chance to get her autographs. We have so many young girls out there on that Wednesday just wanting to sign, you know, an autograph, whether they brought a, you know, basketball or a hat or something. It was just nice to see a new demographic enter the golf course.
Pay attention to how Annika talks about Caitlin's influence. She points out that Caitlin is drawing an audience that normally wouldn't be anywhere near a women's Pro-Am. People who don't watch golf, people who never plan to attend, and people who suddenly care simply because Caitlin Clark is part of it. And did you catch what Annika didn't do? She never tried to steal credit. She didn't imply the fans were there for her too, or try to make it a shared spotlight moment. No jealousy, no insecurity, just honest acknowledgement of reality. Annika clearly gets something the WNBA has been slow to accept. Caitlin expands the sport, and when she wins, everyone in that ecosystem benefits. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. This year, Caitlin didn't show up solo. She arrived with Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull acting as her caddies, both sporting Indiana Fever themed caddy bibs. That is elite level fan base growth strategy. Yeah, the majority of the crowd showed up for Caitlin. That's obvious. But now, those same fans are putting faces and personalities to Sophie and Lexi. They're interacting with them, learning their names, and walking away as supporters of 3 Fever receiver players instead of just one. That's how you build a franchise, a brand, and a movement. And as for Caitlin on the course, she more than held her own again. Smooth strokes, confident reads, and a few clean putts, including this beauty right here. Fans were already gathered and waiting for her before she even reached the tee box, a scene you don't normally witness at an LPGA Pro-Am event. And did any of the golfers complain about it or act bothered? Not at all. They understood the moment. Caitlin wasn't just showing up, she was injecting new excitement, fresh eyeballs, and an entirely different wave of supporters into their sport.
Two of the biggest sports stars in the world, yourself and Caitlin Clark. Describe this atmosphere.
It's crazy. I mean, that first tee was something out of a book almost, but it's so fun. It's cool to see how many people she brings together to another sport, and it's fun to hang out with her. She's super cool. You know, we saw each other actually last week at an outing, yeah, I mean, it's nice to be alongside greats. I mean, even her teammates are super fun, so it's been a blast.
That was Nelly Korda, the 2024 LPGA Player of the Year, one of the most dominant talents in women's golf and a certified superstar in her lane. If anyone had the right to feel overshadowed, it would be her. She could have looked at the massive crowd and wondered, why are they here for Caitlin instead of me? She could have turned it into a rivalry moment, but she didn't. Instead, she responded with gratitude, respect, and genuine excitement. Sarup. She recognized that bigger crowds, more media attention, and a surge in enthusiasm benefits the entire LPGA, not just one player. It's a simple concept. Growth helps everyone. And just for perspective, compare Nelly's reaction to some of the attitudes we've occasionally seen around the WNBA when Caitlin brings her massive fan base into arenas. While Nelly openly embraces the increased spotlight, others seem to view it as a threat rather than an opportunity.
Mystics generally play at Care First Arena, which only holds 4,200 people, so it kind of makes sense that they would move it. But after the game, in the post-game presser, Shakira Austin made her feelings known when she told the press, "I'm hoping we can get some real support from our own fans and what we have building up. We had MVP chants for Asia a couple of games ago, which I understand, which is weird that she understands that, but okay. But it's like, we're in DC, so support us. So I'm hoping Baltimore can be an arena where we consistently play in to get those fans. But if they're not gonna cheer for us, then I don't wanna play here." She also said, "If fans were here to support us and it felt like a home game, I wouldn't mind coming out here," to Baltimore basically. "But if they're gonna be wishy-washy, then keep it in
The difference in mentality couldn't be clearer. The LPGA's attitude is basically, we appreciate you. Your presence lifts all of us. Meanwhile, certain corners of the WNBA give off a vibe closer to, you're only welcome if your support is directed at me. That's exactly why the comparison feels so striking. Because throughout this entire event, everyone in the golf world seemed to understand the bigger picture. From the players, to the tournament staff, to the broadcast teams, no one merely tolerated Caitlin's influence. They openly celebrated it. There was no fear, no bitterness, just excitement about what her star power brings. And honestly, it might be because the LPGA has seen this type of cultural surge before, so they recognize the opportunity when it shows up.
You've covered a lot of sports. Have you seen anything that you would equate this Caitlin Clark phenomenon with, either in men's sports or in women's sports previously? Someone who just has this kind of rising tide that's lifting a lot of boats around her.
Yeah, I mean, I think I touched on it briefly earlier. I mean, I think it truly is, and I'm not just saying this because we're on the Golf Channel. It truly is Tiger Woods, because I'm old enough now that I was young when Tiger was just starting and got to see what a cultural shift it was. As I said earlier, it started as just golf fans, right? And then he started to win tournaments and it became, okay, just sports fans were tuning in. And then at a certain point, it just got to be, it is a Sunday and Tiger Woods is playing golf and the world is stopping because we all have to watch what might happen.
Caitlin Clark is to women's basketball what Tiger Woods was to golf. The comparison couldn't fit any better. When Tiger emerged, he didn't just win tournaments. He brought an entirely new wave of viewers to a sport they never cared about before. People who never watched golf suddenly scheduled their weekends around catching him in action. Caitlyn is creating that very same phenomenon. Fans who never paid attention to the WNBA, fans who wouldn't show up even if the seats were free, are now hunting for tickets, tuning into national broadcasts, and following every game she plays. And this isn't a theory or a hype-driven assumption. The data already backs it up. When Caitlyn is on the court, TV numbers soar to historic highs. When she's not, viewership drops off a cliff, sometimes by more than 50% immediately.
I do have so many people coming up to me who have never cared about any sport, let alone basketball before, who are watching the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, because she is that phenomenon.
It's interesting how openly this narrative can be discussed during a golf broadcast, yet the moment you flip over to ESPN, the entire picture gets twisted. Suddenly the focus shifts to proving the league's success, as if it exists completely separate from Caitlyn's influence. They start comparing 2025 numbers to 2023, while conveniently skipping over 2024, the very season where Caitlyn shattered every record in sight. That kind of framing isn't just confusing, it feels intentional. Fans can see it and they're not falling for it. On the other hand, the LPGA made no attempt to downplay her impact. They leaned into it, acknowledged it publicly, and allowed it to become a defining part of the event's story and momentum. Just take a look at these cinematic highlights. It's clear they get it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's good for business. Crazy idea, right? From start to finish, the way the LPGA showcased her throughout the event should honestly make the WNBA take notice. No one's saying the league needs to roll out a literal red carpet or erect a statue, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving credit where it's due. To the athlete who's driving their viewership, their ratings, and so much of their momentum. And before we finish up, here are a few quick updates from the tournament that Caitlin Clark fans are absolutely gonna want to hear.
A tough year in terms of injury for you. Does that mean you've played a little bit more golf this year?
Unfortunately, it means I've played less, just because I haven't been able to get out there with some of the injuries that I was dealing with, but now feeling back to 100%.
There you have it. Caitlin Clark is fully healthy. No setbacks, no lingering concerns. She's ready for Team USA this spring, and then she'll jump straight into the WNBA season whenever the league decides to tip it off. For Caitlin Clark fans, there's an extra bit of good news. Looking ahead to the 2026 season, there's a strong possibility she could be back on the court alongside Sophie Cunningham. Just a week ago, Sophie suggested she might end up anywhere, but now she's already softened that position. She's openly expressing hope to return to the Indiana Fever, a complete turnaround that Caitlin is surely thrilled about, especially given Sophie's willingness to stand by her both on and off the court.
Yeah, I think she just elevates everyone who's around her. She's a phenomenal player, generational player, and I think everyone sees that. We missed her out on the court this year, but depending on the CBA and what's going on, hopefully we're all together again. But I think the thing about Caitlin, she's just a great person. She's fun, she's silly, kind of still just a kid, and so a lot of people see her in a serious light, but we kind of get to see the goofy side of her.
So yeah, all of this is fantastic news. It was honestly refreshing to see Caitlin Clark recognized and celebrated as the superstar she truly is. That said, it doesn't exactly give me confidence that the WNBA is ready to step up and change its approach. What do you think? And if you've made it this far, drop a W in the comments, because sticking around until the end makes you a winner.